Okay. When something fails and tech happens, we try again. Excellent. I think you all should be hearing me now. Put a comment in the chat if you can hear me, and we will start tonight's Wednesday live. Please put a comment in the chat. I know several were here and we had our tech issues, but I think they are solved and you should be able to hear me now. Yay! Hello, hello. Good to see everyone here. And those of you, we do have someone on the line tonight. If you would like to call in, those from the 80/20 Wonder Club who know how to do that, you can always do that and talk to me about taming your triggers to gain your man's love and commitment. We all have triggers. Taming them is so important with men. So important. But we have to learn how. We have to be on a scale of what works to still get some of our needs met. We have to know what needs are okay to express and why modern stuff that we have been told and sold, which is a big one, sold. I'm going to go into tonight, and we're going to go into more how you work on your own triggering vis-a-vis a love relationship with some very simple little exercises you can start doing, because as long as you focus within, focus on you, and he will too, as I always say, you can get this straightened out so you can have the love relationship you want. Because a lot of our triggering, if we're honest, is that we don't have the love relationship that we want. We need to feel assured of it, safe with it. That is a combination of what we are telling ourselves and what we are doing within, as much as it is from without, meaning what he's doing or not doing. I always say that to be a woman in the relationship is part art, part science. When we combine the two and we regulate ourselves, we get a much better experience with men, and that feeds on itself, and we can better regulate our emotion because we as women, first gender gap in my book, love through knowing, men love through wondering. So we are trying to balance our knowing with making the man wonder so that he continues to love and pursue to a great degree. So if you are new here, and I want to welcome those on Instagram. I'm not seeing if those on Instagram are there. There they are, hopefully, uh, as well as those on YouTube. But if you want to talk to me, I do have someone on the line right now. We will get to her in a moment. You can talk to me on any of these lives, like you will hear tonight and in other of the lives, because coaching is best done when I get to ask the questions that are helpful to me to help you. And hopefully, in hearing these coaching conversations, you get information that helps steer you towards transformation, because information alone is not going to do it. It's actually committing to transforming yourself and your love life that will get you what you want. So, one thing in terms of taming our triggers and why it's so important with men is that some things happen, generally speaking, if we have or we bring our trauma into a relationship. And let's make no mistake about it. We all do that to one degree or another. Here's what I mean by that. We've all been babies, meaning we've experienced life past 7 years old when we are now in a state of consciousness. Before 7, we are not. That's why we don't have many memories. We have all suffered some trauma. It could be with a very little t, all the way on the scale to an extremely big T. But just being a baby is traumatic to the subconscious. We were not built to be the emotional beings handling what we need to handle in the modern world, and we have not evolved into it as yet. Who knows if we ever will? Because at the end of the day, we're human animals. So it's been traumatic for us to be a baby because we come into the world from this safe, warm place, not having any language, any experiential knowledge, completely helpless and vulnerable. I mean, completely helpless and vulnerable. You leave a newborn unattended for, I don't know, 12 hours, certainly 24 and beyond, and it will not survive. That's vulnerability. And the innate knowing that we do have, we come into the world knowing two things, that we know how to suckle, and we know that when we look up into our caregiver's eyes, whether it's a bottle or a breast, that our survival depends on that being loving us, caring for us, giving us their time and attention. And to really be in a good state, we actually need their ultimate affection. The parental figure, namely mom, is our tantamount to our adult love interest. We fall in love, in a sense, with that caregiver. And this comes into play in terms of us needing to know that as females, we definitely need to temper our tone, tempo, and intention with our adult males. Here's what I mean by that. When we are going through our steps of advancement from birth to age 7, we as women, our love interest for the first 2 years or so is the same as a little boy's love interest. That's mom. And here's the easier thing for us. When we are looking up at her, suckling at her breast, we are becoming her, meaning we're going to become and evolve into a female. So we do not have to differentiate in a way that males do. Males, from certainly about 3-ish on, start to differentiate from mom. Here's the rub, however, that think of how vulnerable a 3-year-old still is in terms of their physical being, but also their identity. It is not fully formed. And the mom figure is, just like for us, is the love interest, and he, as that male child, has in them just what we have, which is needing to please, to feel worthy, to be loved, to get affection, attention, and babies need ultimate and consistent time, attention, and affection. And for the first 18 months, mom should really never be out of eye shot for baby. To actually rear children without some form of anxiety or even anxious attachment, that's what needs to happen. And in the modern world, that does not happen, except in places like possibly the Amazon, Africa, some places, fewer and fewer, Aboriginals to some degree. But again, most societies, not happening. So we are creating more and more and more anxiety. But I get back to the fundamental here, which is males are seriously attuned to the mother's tone, intention, and tempo of her voice, because men want to not be women. At the end of the day, that's the male's raison d'etre, the boy's raison d'etre, to differentiate from mom and not become mom. However, from birth to minimally age 3, he somewhat identifies with her, and he has the process of not identifying in terms of becoming male. But yet, it is the woman with woman's voice, woman's energy, woman in his life tells him what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it, and in every way rearing that boy. And a man becomes extremely attuned to the mother's voice and tempo and intention and emotionality. So by the time he is of a certain age, while he still wants the rearing of the mom, he's becoming more and more disassociated and wanting to not be told what to do, how to do it, when to do it, why to do it. And the tone of the mother figure in doing it is extremely disconcerting when it's a la mother. And attending to a woman's needs in a way that is at all reminiscent of mother figure will be hurtful to you. And what I mean by that is that our unregulated emotions distance a man. If we are putting him in any way in the position of healing our stuff from our baby experience, meaning subconscious stuff, that's where triggers come from. Thank you, AJG. She says, give this video a thumbs up. What happens is he just keeps distancing himself. He didn't create it. He can't fix it. And most of all, males are not put here with all things being equal, to be in that position. If you know anything about, hunter-gatherer societies, what have you, Males, hunters, women, gatherers. Naturally, foundationally, anthropologically, psychologically, physically, emotionally, this is how we are wired. And again, everything is on average. Are there outliers with each sex on ends of the spectrum? Absolutely. I'm speaking on average here to heterosexual women in heterosexual relationships with heterosexual men. So, and not that it is not the same in terms of gender if you're homosexual, not at all. It is basically the same. But luckily for people in homosexual relationships, they're speaking the same language. I always say and make a joke that we as women need to speak Mandarin because it's like a different language to us. We see things from different vantage points. And what is happening in our modern world is that we are putting men in positions that they are not fundamentally interested in handling, in doing, in being, making our relationships about the connectedness is fine. But when they are more along the lines of co-created dependency, we have an issue. And more because people have moved away from family and friends even, and friend groups are becoming smaller because we're online now. We don't have the support systems in our lives that heretofore 100 years ago we did. We are putting more and more on our partners. Statistics are bearing this out. We are putting everything on a male partner or female partner. For example, being best friend, being love interest and sexy lover, being business partner or a go-to person for business advice, workout partner, parental being parents together. I mean, everything, and without a lot of outlets with other folks. This does not help at all for us to have good boundaries in relationships. And when we're talking about triggers, we need to be talking about boundaries. Women come to me, I get triggered, and then I talk to him about it, and nothing changes. Yes. Because talking to him about your triggers gives him one message. This is the takeaway today, ladies. It gives him one message. He is not making you happy. And, you know, I mention this all the time. There are two things that a man must have in order to commit. That is under two categories: safety and happiness. Under safety, two headings. You need to be safe for him to commit to, meaning you are in Freud's Madonna whore dichotomy. If you don't know it, look it up. I talk about it a lot here. That is, you are a woman that he can feel safe with, who will remain faithful. You are in wife, mother, girlfriend category, not girl just to have fun with. Not my words, Freud's. Look it up. Madonna whore dichotomy. So you need to be in that category. And even if you didn't start there, you can get there. It's harder. So you want to try to start there. And I've done a lot of videos on that. But You want to morph into being there and making him feel safe. Okay. So, second heading under safety is he needs to feel safe from your emotional dysregulation that he doesn't really understand why, doesn't want to talk about because it's not his ballywick. It's not typically what he's comfortable doing. And you are putting him in the position of problem solving simply because you're going to him about it. And that's what men do. So, talking to him about what he's doing that triggers you and not handling it yourself simply shows him in the next category, which is happiness, that it's not going to work because he and the relationship fundamentally do not make you happy. You happy. You see, that second category of happiness is not his happiness. He gets his happiness from you being happy. In the American Black community, there's a great saying: if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. Nothing more true than that. Because men in relationship with their love interest, if she's happy, they are. Going to him about your triggers, which he did not create. He is not typically equipped unless you are you dating Jordan Peterson? Probably not. And even then, I know Mrs. Peterson has got to be doing some of the strategies I'm talking about because they've had a long lasting marriage. Interesting. All of these roles are so normal today. You mean that people are talking about relationships, and I always say that unfortunately now we as women are talking the man right out the door. It's my mechanics of men. You, as a woman, again on average, with a real car, you want it to look good, feel good, you get in it, it's comfortable, adjust the seat and the mirrors, turn the key, and it goes. You don't need to understand how it works, anything about it. You don't much care. You just want it to work with the minimal effort of putting gas in. Maybe you know you better add some oil. But generally speaking, you want someone else to just take care of it because you are not interested. It's not on average your ballywick, your interest, your innate feelings, knowing, interests. It's not female. Men typically are opposite. They like cars. They want to know about them. They want to talk about them. They want to get under the hood if they could and figure out how the parts run together and look at magazines or online about them. Talk to other guys and share. It's opposite. I say that if when the world turned around in 1961, when the pill, birth control pill, came into the world, and it's one of the 5 things that are talked about as changing the world. And make no mistake, incredible, wonderful thing because women are equal to men. But what happened was from World War II, when it served the United States purpose to put women in the workforce, then 20 years later in 1961, the pill comes into play. Society fundamentally changed, and equal suddenly morphed into the same. And it is now, decades later, that we should talk to each other the same way. We should be the same in relationships. We should share 50-50 of everything in relationships, all manner of stuff that doesn't suit us anthropologically, biologically, psychologically, sociologically. And if we know this as women, we can get the love and commitment we deserve. And when I say love and commitment, doesn't mean that if your relationship isn't working, he doesn't love you. Most relationships do not end for lack of love. Not at all. It's that the men typically, and I say typically, there's all manner of reasons. But if the woman wants the man, she can typically have it when the love is there. If, again, she makes him feel safe and he knows that, and which is part of the safety, safe from her emotional dysregulation, he makes her happy. You can have it. If you are talking to your man about the relationship, I have a rule of thumb. If you are talking about your relationship more than once every 6 months, your relationship is failing and you got to change it. Typically, a woman is trying to convince the man that he should be different. What does that show him? He does not make her happy. It's a very simple formula. So if you are going to him with your anxiety, your triggers, explaining it, trying to get him to be different so he doesn't trigger you, you're on the wrong track. He's not going to do it, because that is like the you going to the real car, going out to the real car every day, and 4 days out of the week, it doesn't start. You don't want to figure it out. You might have to deal with it because you have the car, but eventually you just say, got to get a different car. You're not going to do it. You're not going to get under the hood and try to figure it out. You're not going to be on that rolly thing underneath and get cold and greasy. You do not care. You want it to work. Talking about a relationship is not having a relationship. And this is a very difficult thing for many women to even conceptualize. If we're not talking about it, what do you mean? Just have one. And if that thought is in your mind, you are you're on the wrong track. You must work on your own triggers. And I said I was going to give you something very simple that you can just start working on today. There's a couple of ways to do this. And then I'm going to get to Q&A, and I have a caller in the line. You want to start overriding your own programming because, like I said, if you've been a baby, you have trauma with a small t. There's no question. And to whatever degree, it gets bigger and bigger T, and maybe you have big T. You have to take radical ownership of that. That happened to you. I'm sorry, whatever it was. But there's nothing that the man can do about that now. You need to be fully cooked and within reason, not bring your trauma into the relationship. You have to be incredibly aware and mindful. And this might be the first step that you are doing this and it will not work. In other words, it's not his fault if it hasn't worked for you because you've been talking to him about it and he doesn't want to discuss it. Many men are very high up on the scale of being male, and you can go to them with very little. But I want you to take ownership. If that's the man you want, you can have him. But let's not try to change him. Let's let him be him, and let's see if you really want him. Radical. So, trigger handling starts with you radical self-acceptance and when you're triggered, do nothing first and foremost. Do nothing but breathe. I have my words of wonder that you can start employing when you're triggered. They can always be helpful. Oh, wow. Interesting. Okay. Give yourself a moment to, I need a moment. You have to be ready for the trigger. You have to have a statement that is innate to you that you can say, I'm going to need to process that. Not, I'm feeling triggered. It may sound like semantics, but that typically can be triggering to the man. When you say, I'm going to need to process that, it can help you calm. But if you say, I'm triggered, what are you fostering? You're triggered. You're fostering that with your language. So change it for yourself. I'm going to need a minute. And then maybe you need to go away, maybe not. Maybe you just have to center yourself, breathe. You can say, hey, I have that feeling in myself right now, which has nothing to do with you. That helps. But you've got to start to do something different if you're continuing to have conversations about him, how he's behaving, how you're triggered, his triggers, now, here's the rub. I'm going to say it this way. As the woman in his life, you are going to be his confidant, and he is going to talk to you about his stuff. That's good. That's what you want. Because he doesn't go to his friend Joe and unload his heart with Joe. He doesn't have anyone else to do that with in his life. Most typically, if he doesn't have some other special woman in his life or a therapist, counselor, coach, what have you, he doesn't have that. He's going to do that with you. And you want that to happen. And you want to be there with unconditional positive regard, listening. here's the rub, because we're not the same, even though it's equal, you can't do it with him. This is not fair. I'm just telling you what works because I'm here to have you get the relationship you want. It doesn't work, and it's okay that it doesn't. It's okay that he can't do that because you, as the woman, you have your sister, your mother, your best friend that you can go and do that with and process, because women process through verbalization, and we can talk and talk and talk and talk and talk about the same thing. And he has little to no bandwidth for that. Just is. Differences. Night and day, sun and rain, on or off, stop or go, yes or no, right or wrong, black and white, male or female. It's okay. Equal, like apples and oranges. Different. That's it. Very simple, but difficult. Because when I said earlier in this video that we are sold something, you have to understand that the media, the prevailing social construct and structure of our modern society makes money on it. We actually do, by selling people a bill of goods. The self-help stuff, which is the communicating, how to communicate, the therapeutic community, nothing much worse than taking a man, especially if he's not your husband, to couples counseling. Now, that's a hyperbole statement. But again, what is it? We're talking about the relationship and evidence that it's not working and he doesn't make you happy. Simple, simple, simple. Can you, okay, so I'm going to get to a call, but I'll get to this one question before we get to our caller. Can you speak about handling men who initiate and insist on talking because they think it's helpful? How do you mechanic getting out of the conversation? Well, again, like I said, if he's talking about him, you are his ear. Doesn't seem fair because he's not going to be the one that you do that with to any great degree. It's just not going to work well. That's like him making you the mechanic of the one car that you share. It doesn't work. No, I mean, if he wants to talk about the relationship, well, if he wants to, I'm not so sure. And again, I would have to talk to you about it because I'd have to know more there. What it is that he's trying to get to figure out that either he's not making you happy or something doesn't feel right to him, or he is one of the outliers on the scale. But you have to be very careful because it's almost perhaps that he's inadvertently and maybe um, uh, in a sense hoping to wrangle you into something so it doesn't work, because at the end of the day he doesn't really want the relationship and it's his dissonance. I don't know. Again, I'd have to talk to you more about it and find out more. Okay, so I'm going to get to our caller tonight. I know that's probably not that helpful, but again, would need to talk to you about it. So I'm going to find out who's on. Who's there?
Hello, it's Christine.
Hi, Christine. Christine, we just did a podcast, correct? It's up, I think,
Yes,
on YouTube right now. The first
yes,
one we did together. Is that true?
yes,
Can everyone
yes.
hear Christine? How can I help?
Um, well, I asked a few questions on your last live, about the situation. I don't really think it's a situation anymore, but, I don't know if you remember, but I hadn't answered a text message that he had sent on Saturday, just asking if I was working, and I didn't respond. And after listening to your podcast or your live, you suggested that I should have responded, and I did. And he responded the next day,
Yay!
and that was yesterday, but I haven't heard anything since. And after he responded, he just said, I understand you're busy. That's fine. And then I responded 3 hours later, and I said, thank you. Good to hear from you.
Okay, great. If I recall, when you came on the live, it was Monday night's live, correct?
Monday night?
Yeah.
I think it may have been, yes.
Mm-hmm. And it was that Saturday he had texted you and asked if you were working, and you didn't answer it. And then he didn't
Right.
text back, and it was Monday night. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So I suggested that you absolutely answer him and say, "Oh my goodness, don't know how I missed seeing your text, but I did. Yes, I was working." And something nice after that. Did you do that?
Not exactly.
Okay, what did you do?
I said, sorry, I didn't respond. I've been really busy preparing, studying for a test that I had today. I think I said, I hope you had a good week or weekend.
Okay, it's basically the same. And then I remember on the live, you were tweaked because he did not answer right away.
Right, yeah, he just read it and that's it.
Yeah. But what did I tell you then? He will be answering.
Mm-hmm.
And he did. He needed time to think about it and regulate, and then he answered you. I'm going to ask you now, since I have you on the line, why did you not answer him on Sunday morning?
I just didn't think he was interested. I think I hadn't heard from him prior to Saturday morning. On the last time I had heard from him was Wednesday.
Okay. So I want you to hold on right there because I want to explain something very important here. And this is a good one because this is about your triggers. Because I know, and if any of you here have not heard, you can go on YouTube right now and hear our initial podcast with Christine and her story. It is the latest podcast episode up. I don't know I can find out the episode number. I'll get that for you, and I'll put that in the uh, in in the description below so that you can hear it, because I think it'll be very helpful to hear it. The title is How Questioning a Man's Interest Destroys His Interest in Commitment. That's the name of it. And I think it'd be very helpful for anybody to listen to that if you're questioning. But what I'm talking about is that this is a long distance relationship. And there's something saying to you that if I don't hear from him every day, that means he's no longer interested. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, where did that belief system come from?
Probably. But I'm not sure. I've kind of always had that when it comes to dating.
Okay. But it's not the truth. It's simply how you feel. And it triggers you if you don't hear from him, correct?
Yes, especially after like 2 days. Like I haven't heard from him today. The last time I heard from him was Monday morning.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But we must understand that his view of things is not yours. It's opposite. I always say, do you have any friends that maybe, I don't know, college or from childhood or whatever, maybe you've moved away. Maybe you only hear from them or talk to them once every 3 months. Does it change your feeling about them that don't, you're not in the world anymore and you only hear from them or talk to them occasionally or less frequently?
Maybe not. At least if it's been like 10 years, it probably would mean they don't want to be friends.
Well, if you haven't heard from them at all, maybe. But also maybe not. How many people have found each other on social media after they've just lost touch because life is life? It had nothing to do with their liking you or not. In other words, I'm challenging you, Christine, that this is part of your programming, meaning a belief system, and then you're triggered from that belief. Because if you absolutely knew, meaning I say, I'm looking at my crystal ball right now, and in that crystal ball, I see, oh my goodness, there you are getting married. And there you are. Oh, it looks like you have children. And now it looks like they're graduating high school. And oh, you're at their college graduation. It looks like now you're grandparents. And I saw your entire life with him in this crystal ball. And you knew it was true. If you didn't hear from him for 2 days, would it trigger you?
Probably.
Still, it would trigger you? Even if you knew that you have this and your life is panning out exactly as it is in this crystal ball, you would still be triggered from not hearing from him?
Knowing me, probably.
Okay, I appreciate that honesty. So that says that there's you, and I think I know that this is true. You've had more trauma with a big T than some other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sorry about that. But I know from talking to you that you are very bright, quite capable, and you can change this. And you deserve to change it because you're walking around with programming that somebody else put in you. It's like having a computer that somebody else stuck a virus on, but it's your computer now. You got to get it off. Not fair, just is. But it's super important that you expunge this virus, so to speak, of the programming, that you are not worthy enough, that you are forgotten, that you are neglected, that you are dismissed. And we talk about the ways, I believe, on that episode, and certainly at the end, which, again, if you're listening on YouTube, you're not going to get it all. You need to join the 80/20 Wonder Club to have the rest of it. And that's why Christine, who is a member of the 80/20 Wonder Club, is talking to me now. And you can do that. It's a feature of the club now. I want you to have that. It's all out there, what you need to be doing and working on. You, from your awareness, from your conscious mind, this is the adult in you, your conscious mind. You are going to have to reprogram your child subconscious mind. When I say reprogram, I really mean override the existing program, because we never expunge our programming, because our programming, and that we are programmable with our subconscious, is put there to keep us safe. Make no mistake about it. It's a glitch in our human system. We were made to be human animals. If you're religious and that flies in the face, well, we've evolved, but make no mistake, Homo sapiens that been in the wild along with Neanderthals, but Homo sapiens, yes, we had a bigger brain, but everything in us is wired for the wild. So our subconscious is there to keep us safe. So everything that is put on the subconscious is just about that. So we are the baby, we crawl towards the flame, we grab it, and now we are indelibly on our subconscious mind programmed with that's what fire does to you. And we never, ever have to learn it again. That's the beauty of our subconscious. We walk because we learned it. We don't have to learn it again unless we've had an accident, brain damage, spinal cord injury. Talk, we don't think about it, subconscious. Heartbeat, subconscious. But everything is about the physical system. The glitch is we evolved to higher level thinking, and whatever was put on us, meaning any trauma, again, we've all had little t to big T, to us is what is true. Just like when you grab the flame, when you're the baby, it burns. That's true. Our subconscious delegates it as true. So whatever happens from 0 to 7, when we are in theta brainwave, which is a hypnotizable state, it's true. When we don't get time, attention, and affection, and if we are abused, what is true on our subconscious is you are not worthy, lovable, valuable, wanted, You will be abandoned, hurt, and that's who you are. You, with your higher consciousness, must first and foremost, decide you absolutely can and will change this. If not, you are going to continue to traumatize yourself. The adult self in you can override the programming of that little girl subconscious that is still there, believe it or not, trying to protect you. So when you don't answer him like that on Saturday night, that's to self-protect, but then immediately it triggers you, right? You were triggered.
I feel more triggered after I answered.
Yes. Yes, because now you're putting yourself in a position of maybe being hurt again. Because you're not following the steps of doing the mindset work, overriding the programming by affirmations and sleep meditations. Make no mistake, if you've had trauma with a big T, you, I believe, are best helped by hypnotherapy, because any talking about it, explaining the trauma to someone else, what does that do? It reinforces it. And I'm going to do my next video on the verbalization and reinforcing. It's a really interesting thing that goes along with frequencies. It's really amazing, the power of the word for us. So if you can't do that, you can do it by your conscious mind at every moment telling your subconscious, that little girl in there, what you want her to believe. You should be able to step into the bathroom, look in that mirror, and tell yourself, I love you. You are lovable. You are worthy, and all the other wonderful things about you. If you can't do that and it's uncomfortable, you need to set about 9 affirmations about your worth and value, minimally, out loud, 6 times a day for 21 days. If you can do that, you will start to override the programming and start to feel more worthy. There is no indication that he is moving away from you, dismissing you. He was when if you hear the first podcast, because Christine and I did a second one. What was it, a week or so ago, Christine?
You mean when I messaged him?
No, when we talked again on the podcast, that was like a week or so ago, and that just came out in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, when you message him again and he said what he said to you, he wanted clarification on your relationship. But you see, I can believe it for you, but we need to get your subconscious to believe it. Wayne Dyer says, seeing is not believing. Believing allows you to see it in your reality. And this is the manifestation prong of the 3-pronged approach I take. We have to have all of it. We have to have mindset, manifestation, and the mechanics of men.
So, question:
Mhm.
my idea of how long someone should or shouldn't take to answer a message, would you say that should just be thrown out the window? There's no exact time.
I think
I
I'm
think it is.
I think I'm hearing you right. Ask me again, maybe a different way.
Mhm. Um, so when you're talking to, an interest, a love interest, whatever, is there no set amount of time that they should, text you or call you for you to still think there's something there? Or,
Mhm. Okay, good question. You see, if you could start to do this work and believe in yourself and trust manifestation and have a different self concept, you could be trusting that you will be hearing from him. And given your situation, yes, you're having a long distance relationship. And it's just at the very start again. And here's what I can tell you, Christine, knowing the situation. You have some catch up to do to make him feel safe in it. Do you know what I mean by that?
a bit.
Tell me what you think it is.
Okay, one, if I'm gonna, I would say one, change my mind and say, and maybe call things off. Two,
Wait,
a
wait,
part
wait,
of me
wait.
just,
Why would you call things off? Oh, I see. You're saying he has to trust that you won't change your mind and just call things off. Is that what you mean?
yes.
Yes, absolutely. You got it. Uh huh. Keep going.
Um, the other thing, I know I'd be thinking it. We live 8 hours away, so you know, why fish out of a pond that takes 8 hours to get to when you have a large pond right there? I mean, he lives in the DC area. That's a huge pond with a lot of awesome people there.
Okay. But he has shown you that he wants to be back in touch and that he wants to, quote unquote, give things a try. That was the last thing he and you talked about. But you don't trust, way underneath, your subconscious is screaming, fire, 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 gonna be hurt, gonna be hurt, gonna get burned. You see? Rather than,
Mm-hmm.
of course, we have a connection. We have years in that he's attending to. He must really like me, or else he wouldn't have taken the bait when I contacted him and said what he said. You are typically, because you're programming, going towards the negative. Ding, 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 fire, 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 gonna be burnt, gonna be hurt. You must override this. There is no other way around it. You must then also trust. If he wants out of it, he will let you know. There is no indication that he does. You have to start stepping into trust, affirming, and manifesting this relationship. I can't tell you how big this is and how much it works when you you walk the walk by talking the self-talk, both while you're awake from your conscious mind into your subconscious, and sleep meditations. And again, if you can do hypnotherapy, yes, but most people with lesser trauma, you don't even need to do that. It's amazing. In 2 weeks' time, you will see yourself start to clear. Our minds are amazing in this way. And like I said, the next live, I'm going to be talking about how this can really work in a bigger way. But if you don't, as the woman in this, step into trust and understand that this is a process and it's going to go step by step. In other words, there is no in terms of your, because it's long distance, there's no here like any urgency about this, any worry, any urgency, any lack, any need. It needs to play out. And wonderful, because I know you're working on other stuff in your life, like your work, your education, where you live, finances, fitness, all of that, correct?
Yes.
Isn't it great? This gives you a chance to do that. But you must step into belief that you have it. It is right there in front of you. But even in front of you, see, seeing is not believing. If seeing is believing, you would believe it. You need to believe it. What's that?
I said, this sounds like I need to develop my faith.
I don't know if you can see me, but I'm shaking my head. Yeah. Big time. It is why, like, for example, I don't know if you know him, if you're in the Christian community, there is a preacher, Joel Osteen. He's on TV and he has a huge congregation in Houston, Texas. And he wrote a book, I Am. There's probably a tagline after it. But this is part of the Bible. The Bible talks about everything that you avow after I am, you become. Really, it's manifesting. The reason why in the Bible, pray as if you already have it was never ask for it when you pray. The Bible is the greatest manifesting text ever written. And I find it fascinating that in Hebraic, ancient Sumerian, if you take I am in the translated, the word Jesus is I am. In other words, whether there was a man, Jesus, or not, the parables in the Bible, if you want to talk about it, I am, meaning you, as the being you are the all powerful. The God particle in you is, as Neville Goddard would say, your I amness. And if language follows in any sort, it's very interesting to me that if you just put an I In the word Jesus, you have je suis in French. If anybody knows French, that means I am. There are no coincidences. What we avow after I am, we become. If you step more into your faith, that's fantastic. Get Joel's book, super easy read. But he is, in a sense, making it more elementary. It's even more, if you follow Neville Goddard's manifestation, profound. Joseph Ally does a lot on this. If you don't know him, I forget what his channel is, but you can find him on YouTube under Joseph Ally, ALAI. And he has, it's kind of a crude, meaning elementary video, or not edited, not fancy. That's why I love it. It's him in front of a whiteboard explaining all of this and the Bible. Joseph is a manifesting teacher, coach, however you want to look at it. And he explains all of this in a video called Unmaking the Made, MADE. If you can watch it, if you're interested in this and Neville Goddard's manifesting and why this is not, manifesting is not anti-Christian, anti any religion, it can go along with, but if you incorporate it through the Bible, fantastic. In other words, however you come to it, whether it's Neville Goddard, whether it's some other manifesting guru, whether it's science, and I'm going to bring you more of the science of it in the next video. If you don't know him, Billy Carson, I'm going to bring some of his stuff and explain how manifesting really is a metaphysical thing. You can come at it any way. All I'm saying is step into it, incorporate it. You are, by being here, all of us, every single one of us on the earth is God, if you believe in it, or the greater power or universe, having an experience of you, through you. Dog is here, so God has the experience of being that doggy. God has the experience of being each one of us. We have the divine in us. Let it come through. Choose your I amness. I am growing, becoming, evolving. Think of giving to Him rather than just waiting for Him to be coming to you. What I mean by that is that just have profound gratitude for Him being in your life and appreciation. You do not have to reach out. Receive, that's feminine energy. Gratitude, appreciation. What you sent Him was good. You are intuiting that if He doesn't keep it going, He's not interested. I can tell you, as the male, that is not true because, ding, 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 men love through wondering. He will be in touch, and you're here. If He's not, in a week's time, we'll talk again. But can you do this work for 1 week and commit to some of the things we're talking about here tonight and actually say to yourself, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am stepping into trust and being grateful for having him in my life, which inspires him to reach out, connect, and commit. And you're going to have a very hard time believing that. That's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to memorize it and start repeating it orally. And if you want to write it, also good. Can you do that for 1 week and bring that back to us? We want to hear how it went. Is it a deal?
Yes, I can do that.
Fantastic. You're so deserving. And this is going to get better. You're going to be happier, healthier, and you're on your way. And you want to say that tonight. I'm starting out. I'm on my way. I'm making this happen. Isn't it exciting? If you are feeling anxiety, say to yourself, I'm excited by the possibilities, because anxiety and excitement in our bodies are the same thing. Okay?
Okay.
Great. We're not going to solve it in one, but thank you for being on. We're not going to solve it in one discussion, but we actually start the process. It's step by step. I thank you for talking, Christine. I think that's very helpful to others. We learn through listening to others' stories, and we gain personal knowledge from each other and grow. And I really honor women able to share like that. I used to get triggered a lot when I tried to ignore my ex. I don't get triggered now because he stopped calling. Okay. I guess that's good. But you see, we actually have all within us to deal with our own triggers, and we do not want to put that on a man. That's what this whole video was about tonight. You must be taming your own triggers so that the man feels safe in the relationship, that he can make you happy. I hope that makes sense. I'm glad you were all here tonight. Those on Instagram, glad you were able to. Lots of folks over on Instagram. I hope you will come on over to YouTube and and be with us there. Because it's easier for me to get the comments here. I mean, I'm glad you're listening in, but come on over. It's also, I ask, if you are here and you enjoy these lives and any other videos or content, that you please subscribe. I'm trying to grow YouTube so that more people can share with us and grow with us and go the distance with their man. That's what I'm all about. If you need personal help, there's ways to talk to me on the podcast for free. Here, just like Christine did. You can do that by being a member of the 80/20 Wonder Club, which is monthly, the price of a latte for the full month, and it's only monthly. You can join for a little longer and save even more money. You can do that, and you get all the podcast episodes. in their entirety with all my coaching for however long an episode is, ad free. You get the Making Magic with Men Mindset Manual video series in there as well. And if you want to speak to me privately, you can do that. You just reach out to my assistant. We set something up. If you join the 80/20 Wonder Club for a year, which you save, you can also get a full coaching intensive experience with me where you will experience what it's like to be in a coaching program that I have. And that's what I do. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a social media person. I'm a real coach coaching real women. And I hope to give you more if you will do me the solid of subscribing and sharing these videos far and wide so that I'm able to keep doing them by growing the channel. And I look forward to doing more and helping you more. A like on this video if you do also does. Even if you don't, a thumbs down also helps the algorithms as well. Either way, and I hope to, get to know you better here by the comments and or joining the club and us talking like Christine did. Christine, I'm very grateful to you. I want to hear next week, and we'll talk with Michelle and get you on a night that we can find out. I guess next Wednesday night we'll want to do that if you can make it. So be well, be safe. Please share this. Thank you again. Love you all. Please take good care. Don't forget, with any man in your life, to make him wonder. Be back here any Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for a live. And thank you, Jay. She says, I'm thankful for you, Paula. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.